Well, good evening, guys, and good evening, class and teacher. And today I'm gonna talk about a topic I did in my other class that is called public relations, specifically talking about politics. Okay, so for starting, politics is something very important we have in our daily life. We think it doesn't really matter really what politics and what things happen in our daily life. We see new governors, new presidents, new towns membership, and everyone in the council, in the legislation of new laws. And we think it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, here in Mexico, other things have power. But we're gonna talk a little bit. Okay. So the United States of America, a country that is next to Mexico, is very important to us, not because we are from that country, but because they have a lot of power over us and how we deal with different relationships internationally. And we can talk about a little bit Donald Trump. Donald Trump wasn't even a politician, he was a businessman, and a businessman that promised in his campaign to have no wars, to make better decisions for the economy of the United States of America. Yet we see different things. Why is it like that? Politicians all around the world always ask themselves how we can help our people, or are supposed to ask themselves that how we can help our people and dealing with new laws and new regulations and changes to change all this stuff that really happens to us. The United States of America decided to choose Donald Trump for the president, and we see nowadays that was a pretty bad decision. He was talking about no wars, and he is straight up just started more wars. With dealing with the port of Hormuz, Iran, and also the big thing that is the genocide happening right now in Gaza and Palestine. In the things that Israel really does every day to the Palestinians and has been done for decades, while excluding them, bombarding them, and everything that does. Donald Trump is a politician that we cannot trust. Also, having new changes today, we want to talk about Maru Campos, the governor of this state, Chihuahua. She's a governor for the political party of El PAN, Partido Acción Nacional, that really is a conservative force in the country and has been in the power for a lot of years, especially in this state. She talks about regulations and forming new family and bringing back the bonds we have with our family. Yet she only uses some of her money, well, most of the government money, in being politically liked. And some studies have shown that she has spent around 2,345 million pesos in just publicity, from their campaigns to the informs she does. Everything she does, she ends up paying millions and millions of pesos just for her to be politically liked. Even though she doesn't do regulations, she brings up the requirements for the vehicles we have and the taxes we do. Yet she doesn't do that for most people because she only tries to fight for the rich man and the companies, because she also is involved in speculation about the market of immobiliary houses and how she benefits from selling more cars and how we have no real public transportation and everything that politics does at the end of the day, because we don't have much to talk, comes back to us. And we live in a city that doesn't have a great, it doesn't really have a decent public transit. And what ends up happening is we have to buy a car to go around the city just in our everyday lives. And a car is a very expensive thing and something that we shouldn't have to spend on, because we have public transit for some reason that is more ecologically sustainable and more sustainable for our wallets. Yet we see politicians don't really care about the people. It's something that happens and something that I was talking in my class, about the public relations of politics and what ends up happening in our country and our state and our communities, that these politicians don't really help. And that's all for today. Bye bye.